Well. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Craig, your famous and favorite certified peer recovery specialist, and I'm here tonight, and we're going to talk about something that's very important. As you already know, I am a recovery coach, and so basically, anytime you see me doing these group sessions, it's basically entail some type of healthy lifestyle when it comes to staying sober from substance use disorder, whether it be alcohol or drug addiction. So tonight, this is our family session that we're going to talk about. And so what we're going to talk about tonight is, you'll see it scrolling across the screen. It says, what to know and how to cope. Family meeting, right? And so this article is brought to you by Healthline.com. And so we're going to get right into it. And so I'm going to read the overview before we get directly into the topic. It says, how to cope when someone in your household lives with addiction. The overview. Living with other people always call for balance and understanding to create a safe and harmonious household. When it comes to living with someone with an addiction, though such goals may be a bit more challenging. The first goal is to understand addiction and its potential effects on how household and relationships. This is also the case if your loved one is in recovery. All right. And so, first of all, we want to talk about the aspect of understanding addiction. Understanding addiction. The article goes on to say, to understand how to live with a loved one, who has an addiction, it's important to first learn the driving forces behind the addiction itself. Addiction is a disease that causes changes in the brain. In people with addiction, dopamine receptors activate and tell the brain that drugs are rewards. Over time, the brain changes and adapts as it becomes dependent on the substance being used. Due to such significant alteration in the brain, addiction is considered a chronic or long-term disease. The disorder can become so powerful that it can be difficult for your loved one to control their use of the substance, even though they know the physical, emotional, and financial consequences associated with it. But addiction is treatable. Inpatient rehab may be a short-term solution, while counseling and health coaching can be long-term options. During recovery, help and accountability from friends and loved ones may also be needed. Right? It said, so the article talks about, it said the disorder can become so powerful that it can be difficult for your loved ones to control their use of the substance. Even though they may know it's harmful, that it's doing great damage, the drug is sending dopamine to the receptors and making those who are using it believing that this is a reward, or giving one the illusion of what they call a euphoria. Euphoria is a highlight or a thrill, all right, that one feels when they're using these drugs. So the article goes on to make mentions that it is important not to take matters personally. So if you have a loved one that's using drugs and they are in your household, first of all, we want to understand the addiction, and we must understand that the person that's using it, they are especially if they've been using it for a long time, it becomes in a dependent state, whereas it's like a disease. And so it triggers the mind to believe that this is something that they need to live a normal lifestyle, which in fact it is the opposite. You do not need drugs to live a normal lifestyle. The article goes on to say that it is treatable by through counseling or a health coaching. Right? This may seem easier said than done, especially when it feels like you have tried everything in your power to treat the disease in your loved one. But addiction can be one of the most severe conditions to contend with. It's one that often takes multiple people to help treat, including doctors, friends, and family members. So, being that this is a family meeting and we're talking about addiction or loved ones who's addicted to drugs, always remember you are not in it on your own. You don't have to do it on your own, so you can seek outside help to help you better understand what it is that your loved one is dealing with and how you can work together as a team, as a unit to combat this disease, right? So the next one we want to talk about is how addiction can affect a household. Addiction affects all members of the household in different ways. Just some of these effects can include anxiety and stress, depression, guilt, anger and embarrassment, financial problems, inconsistencies in rules, schedules, and routines, physical and security danger. Risk is higher if the person with addiction is currently intoxicated or seeking drugs. That is how addiction can affect the household. So if you have someone that's in the household that's using, it can be the parent, or it can be the child, it can be the brother, it can be the sister, aunt, uncle, whatever role that they play in the household or that they are related in the household. They can even have anxiety and stress, because a lot of times that comes with it. You know, you can feel fearful for your loved one, and it can cause stressed out. You know, you don't know what to do, you know, who to turn to, things of that nature. Depression, it causes guilt. You know, you may say to yourself, what did I do wrong? You know, I have given my child, or I have provided everything, or I've done the right things, and yet still they are using. So we want to find out more about this, what to know and how to cope with a loved one that dealing with substance use disorder. Here's some tips. Tips for living with a loved one who has an addiction. It's important to remember that you didn't cause the addiction. You also can't fix it. You also can't fix it. You didn't cause it. You can't fix it. What you can do is take steps right now to ensure your safety and protect your well-being. If you're living with a loved one who has an addiction, consider the following tips. There's several bullets here, and I'm going to read each and every one of them. The first tip talks about keep you and your family safe. This is especially important if you have family members who are more vulnerable, such as children, elderly relatives, and pets. Make sure there are household rules and boundaries set. If safety becomes an issue, you may need to ask the loved one with an addiction to temporarily leave the home. All right? It says, keep you and your family safe. The second bullet talks about have a response plan if matters escalate. Right? I'm going to read that again. It says, have a response plan if matters escalate. This could include having backup from friends, family, therapists, or in extreme cases, the police. People who have an addiction and of themselves aren't dangerous. But if somebody is actually intoxicated with a substance, they may become dangerous. All right? And so remember, you want to first of all keep you and your family safe. Then second of all, we want to have a response plan if matters escalate, if things get out of control. You want to reach out to friends, family, uh, or therapists. And the article goes on to say, in extreme cases, seek the police. Don't take matters into your own hands for your own safety and for the person's safety as well. Number three, it said restrict access to money. This is so very important. This one I'm reading right now. All of them is important, but when it says restrict access to money, let's see what the article says. Explain to why we must be uh, disciplined when it comes to money. Your loved one may do whatever they can to get money to buy the substance they're addicted to. It may be best to take them off any personal bank accounts and credit cards. You may even consider opening up a new bank account for yourself as a precaution. All right. So it's not to say that the person that's on the drug is a bad person. It's just that when people are intoxicated, they're not in their right mind. We can be very, I'm speaking for myself, keeping the focus on myself. I know when I was using, I was very manipulative, conning, and baffling. And I thought I was the sharpest knife or the slickest person since sliced bread, the best thing since sliced bread or anything like that. But yes, be mindful because, and also you don't want to become uh, in that your loved one's enabler because that, and if you become an enabler, you're doing more harm than good to your loved ones because, like the article says, they're going to use that money that you give them. They may say, "Oh, I'm going to get me something to eat," or "I'm going to buy me some new shoes," or whatever. And I say that it always lying, but 9/10 of the time, if they using word to wise, be cautious. All right. The next bullet talks about set boundaries for your household, lay out specific rules and expectations. You can even make a list, provide clear-cut consequences if your loved one breaks any of these boundaries. All right. So sometimes you have to put your foot down. You have to be stern, but loving as well. But you also have to let people know that not only that you care for them, that you love them, but also that there are rules and regulations that you adhere to, and so they are not exempt to the rules and regulations that you set forth in your own home as well. Right? So the next bullet says, encourage treatment. Let me read that again. Encourage treatment. Talk to your loved ones about considering a treatment program, especially if individual therapies haven't been adequate in addressing the disease. This may come in the form of rehab, psychotherapy, and nutrition counseling. Therapy is so important because a lot of times, most people that goes to group or rehab and they meet a counselor for the first time, and if they don't look like them or they don't talk like them, they feel that they are inadequate or inapt to give them advice. And little do they know that those people who may not look like them or talk like them, or who they feel is not relatable, may have some strong coping skills that they can learn from them and to become or embrace some of the coping skills that they utilize. Because a lot of times, they say, man, you ain't been through you haven't walked in my shoe, you don't know where I come from, you don't know what it's like. Cool. So let's take it on the flip side. They could have been on around situations. They could have been in environments where that stuff was going on. However, they had the wherewithal, the willpower to say, "No, I'm not going to use alcohol or drugs, and I'm going to take the different route." And so they are more successful. They have become accomplished in life, and so we could look at these people who may never walk in our shoes and never experience what we experience, but yet they still are valuable in the knowledge and what they're trying to do as far as helping. All right, just want to share that. Let's talk about another bullet point that this article make mention of, and that is prioritize self-care. Ooh, this is so good. This is a difficult time for you and your family. The stress can make it easy to neglect your own health needs. If at all possible, try to take some time out of your day for yourself. Exercise, eat right, and make time to relax to ensure your well-being. It's so important, from a holistic perspective. When you're treating an addiction, you have to treat it from the holistic perspective, eating right, exercise, journaling, relaxing, uh, get a hobby and learn how to find new healthy friends, things of that nature. So that's a whole host of things that we like to look at when we're dealing with the recovery and sobriety aspect. And the last bullet says, join a support group. Join a support group. You're certainly not alone, right? It says more than 20 million people aged 12 years or older had a substance use disorder in the United States, right? Support groups are widely available online and in person that address the needs of those who love someone with an addiction. So this is a hybrid meeting. And, we just share some information. We're talking about what to know and how to cope with the loved ones who may be addicted to alcohol or drugs or whatever form of addiction. There's several. It could be gambling. It could be overeating, things of that nature. And so, whatever addiction that they're facing, try to be understanding. Try to learn all that you can as a family member. If you're not the person that's using, find out what it is that ailing or your loved one, what's your loved one utilizing. Get the understanding of what it is that they're using, why they start using from could it be some past hurt? Could it be some past pain? Could it be some past fears? Whatever it may be, try to get an understanding because you got to create a balance between you and your loved ones and the environment in which, especially if they're living in your household. All right, and especially if there's children, young children around, or elderly people. All right. So let's talk about another tip. The article make mention. It says, tips for living with a person in recovery from addiction. Once your loved one has left rehab or stopped doing drugs for a significant period of time, they're considered a person in recovery. All right. This means they're still vulnerable to relapses. So it's important to continue offering support and building trust so your loved one can come to you if they feel the urge to use substances again. It can take time to trust a loved one again, especially if they lie, exhibit harmful behaviors, or stolen from you. You may need to work with a therapist to help you both reestablish the much needed trust your relationship needs to thrive. Okay? And so I know when I came home and after all the stuff that I did, I probably haven't did as much as some people, but I've done things whereas I know I I want to say severed the relationship that I have with my family. The skepticism was there. I come home and I say, well, I don't use no more. I'm a new man, and they heard the song and dance before. I'm not going to do it again, this, that, and that. And I would do it over and over again. But the last time I came home, I was sincere. I was determined to show my family and the world that I'm a new person. So I know skepticism was there. And so what I did, I said, I know skepticism of my loved ones, they may have of me. It's there and it's valid. I said, you know what? I'm gonna keep doing what's right until they come to realization within their own sense and say, you know what? I think he really got it this time. And so it makes me feel good, whereas that I can be around family members, they can be around me, and all is well. So if you are listening to me or you're watching this and you have done some hurt or harm to your loved one, apologize. Show them through your action that you are genuinely and sincere about changing, and that you will demonstrate it through your behavior day by day. Let's take one day at a time, as we all would know in the support group. We learned that slogan, one day at a time. And that is a profound slogan. You can't get it all done in one day at a time. Let's read some more what this article is talking about. It says, also, don't be afraid to directly ask your loved one how they're doing in the recovery phase. To all the parents, all the loved ones out there, the article says, don't be afraid to directly ask your loved one how they're doing in the recovery phase. I'm quite sure, that will make the person that's using or the person that's in recovery feel a whole lot better knowing that someone is taking an interest in their recovery and their new walk in life, their new lifestyle. And said, asking them about any possible urges can help them talk out their feelings rather than giving into their impulses. Wow. So asking them about any possible urges can help them talk out their feelings rather than giving into their impulses. Wow. So that's from that. What I get from that is having an open and honest conversation and discussion. How are you feeling? What are the emotions that you're feeling? Do you feel any trigger, anything, any urges or any cravings? Let's talk about those things. Let's get down to it. And by being open and honest, we all can move forward. But so I want to talk about the last part of this article. We're talking about today what to know and how to cope with family. This is a family meeting, those who are dealing with substance use disorders. And so the last aspect we want to talk about, or what is called in the article they write, it says, takeaway. what did we learn, or what are some of the things that we can take away from this article that I have just read and shared with you, and some of the things I may have discussed or elaborated upon. So it says, living with someone who has an addiction can be hard for everyone involved. That's one of the takeaways is living with someone who has an addiction can be hard for everyone involved. Aside from helping your loved one treat their addiction, it is important to keep you and your family safe. All right. Second part it talks about, it says, aside from helping your loved one treat their addiction, it's important to keep you and your family safe. It says, with the last part, it says, with a bit of planning and boundary settings, this can be accomplished. So this is our article for today on of our family meeting. This is something that we're doing here at Capital Recovery Center. We want to talk about, we want to hopefully get let you get a feel of a family setting where we can host a meeting, whereas we can sit down and talk open and honestly, and just be non-judgmental, and to be able to share our stories, our concerns, our love, our desires, and a whole host of things, so that we can better treat our loved ones. Because there's a lot of stuff going on. Let's be honest. There's a lot of stuff going on with the alcohol and drug, with the opioids, with the fentanyl. This stuff is real. It is serious. It's dangerous. Very, very dangerous. People are losing their lives more rapidly nowadays. I'm a little older now, and so they didn't. I guess they had it around, but they wasn't utilizing it as much as now. Fentanyl, they was using morphine with the opioid usage back then, which was also dangerous. But now they're using stuff that is, what the medical report says, higher and more severe, dangerous today. So, word to the wise, I would like to share to those who may be utilizing it or thinking about utilizing stuff like that, especially opioid, fentanyl, or alcohol. Please think very carefully, because it don't take much for you to consume it, and for people to become ill, or the last resort, someone can overdose. And if you're not rescued in time, you could lose your life. So I just want to add that little tidbit in there, because I am concerned, and we're here to save lives and support family, and we're here to instill hope, and anything that we can do here as recovery coaches here at Capital Recovery Center under the heading of the Department of Cumberland County Human Services. We would love to have you contact us. I'm going to put the information on the screen where you can call us or contact us here at Capital Recovery Center. As you can see, the phone numbers going across the screen. It says 856-391-7449 or 1-800-236-2448. How can we help you with your recovery? What does recovery means to you? Please reach out, write that number down, call us, contact us, and share this information with someone. That's it for now. Hope you have a blessed day, and until the next time, stay safe. Take care. Bye-bye.